their enemy.
Yeah, I see. I see. That due to limitation of the graphical engine, we cannot do the like global illumination stuff, like the ray tracing and everything. It's too much, and it could be done different with different techniques. So I believe we need to add another pass of the lightning in the interchange.
All right, so labs. Some people asked, could you put a level lock on there or a quest lock? Is it something that you'd be interested in doing? So, you know, like instead of it just being get to level 15, you get a labs key card from the flea market, you can jump in there. But maybe around the same time you get the samples quest where you've got to get the stims. So at least that way, I guess what people don't want is they don't want that level 15 account that's a cheater to jump into labs and ruin their game for them. They want people who are actually going into labs to be legitimate players. And so therefore, if they have to do some questing first, then it's less likely there's a cheater in labs. I think that's where the frustration or this question comes from, less than they want labs to be harder, because I think primarily they want everyone in labs because that's where the PvP happens, but at the same time they want to reduce the chance of a cheater being in there. I'll put that into the universe, do what you want with it. The map Lighthouse hasn't really had much touched on it since it was released. It's probably one of those maps that caused a lot of frustration for people because of how linear it is. Do you have any plans to do any rework of Lighthouse, or is it on it's pretty much where it's at?
Well, we didn't plan to add anything to that still, but I don't know, maybe in the future.
This was like 3,000 messages I read, and I tried to just focus on the ones that made people that stood out the most. And so they just want to be heard, Nikita. That's the main thing I'm trying to emphasize here. Is like if I was to put everyone in a room and you know how you have someone stand up and put their hand up and say, hey, Nikita, if you know favorite breakfast cereal, like this is kind of like I went through all that shit just to find these questions, and so it might be getting a bit dry, and I do apologize for that. But people just wanted to be heard, and that. So it's up to you. We can call it here, and we can go through the second half next week if you want.
We can do it. We can do it this week. I don't know.
It'd have to be like
a couple of days.
Thursday, maybe.
Thursday, yeah.
Our favorite day of the week. All right, guys, so we wrapped up the first half of the recording. 2 or 3 days later, the next part of the recording begins. Also, the patch, I think 14.5 came out during the middle of this break, and then the BTR was obviously put out into Woods, and some of the changes had already been added to the game. So let's get into the second half of the conversation. Let's go. So the next thing that people brought up was sights. Some of the eye reliefs are actually still really bad. And some of the magnifications just like pretty much unusable. You know, like the Night Force sight that's like a 12 by 50x or something, and it sits somewhere around the 25x. There's literally no opportunity to ever use that because the way you've done it is you've got like either like say 1x or 4x. You know what I mean? Because you don't have it, so you can like you've used sights before, like you can variable in between the 1 and the 8, and you could go anywhere in between. If you could look at doing just some of the eye reliefs in particular, and then also, and if you need me to find a list, I could probably get people to give me a list, but of the sites that have bad eye relief, and then also some of the magnifications are just unusable. So at least then it'd be cool to have one of those big sniper sights and actually be able to use it, or at least have a variation in there. So it's might be 25x, but then it's also like 7x. You know what I mean? A lot of people want to know more about the hideout. Are there many more areas to be added? And what will it finally look like when it's complete?
We will add more stuff, like several new areas, like even the special areas. And also the hideout will be used as the place for adding like new stuff, new areas, linked only for the DLC. For example, the clan DLC will add additional room only for clan areas, clan zones, clan units and everything. So yeah, it will be used as like this kind of big hideout for everything related to the DLC, future DLC, and the game itself.
People have been asking about the hideout cat. Is that soon or soon?
It's like not soon, but soon, yes.
Okay. What about like a dog or a pizza oven? I think Jesse Kazam wants a pizza oven. And are you open up to the idea of microtransactions for decorations in your hideout?
We'll see, actually, because we didn't plan to expand the hideout for adding like really unrelated stuff. I don't know, massage parlor.
Massage parlor. This is actually an actually kind of, I think it's kind of a cool one. Is can you increase the wall of fame So it holds pretty much all the items needed for collector. Because like the Doctor Disrespect's armor, or like the plague mask, or the food like General Sam's soft drink or can, whatever it is. Just because a lot of people, when they're collecting all the items for collector, for the Kappa task, they'd like to be able to just keep putting them in there, so then that way they don't accidentally use them. Now for spawns and exfils, adjust some spawns on some maps on maps so there's no clear line of sight. Reserve has a lot of issues with this. Probably one of the big ones. Reserve's got a lot of issues with, you pretty much can take like 2 steps and you can see someone. And I thought potentially an idea just to put that forward is, you know how on Streets of Tarkov you've got some spawns like literally inside a building? So then that way you've like, it's kind of like a divot away. So then that way you're not sure if someone's in there or not. And there's so many different things like that. I know Reserve's a tricky map for that, but people kind of need it's very predictable to know where people are on Reserve when they spawn in. And there's a lot of frustration. I know, just to bring Jesse Kazan back up again, I know he was showing some clips recently. There's nothing more frustrating than waiting 3 or 4 minutes to get into a raid and you literally take 4 seconds to move and you're dead. They at least want to feel like they have a chance to fight back. Reserve has a lot of issues with that. Another idea a lot of people were putting forward is about reducing the player count on some maps. So then that way it's not as predictable for so many people to be at all the spawns when you spawn in. But I'll put that in the universe, use that information how you want to see fit. This has kind of changed a little bit because of what you've just done on Woods, but drastically increasing the exfil areas on some maps and increasing the amount of extracts. So for example, with this one, I'm talking about Emicon extract on interchange. Instead of it being right at that truck, having it like behind the tents and a little bit further out. So then if people are extract camping, obviously realistically you would have to go up to the truck to extract, but the reason why people can get away with extract camping so well is because they know they have to go to a very finite section of the map. And if they've already traversed through the whole map, looted the entire map, what difference does it really make if they're within that, say, 30 square meters compared to being like 50 square meters, and they've gone over to that area, and it just makes it a little bit more difficult for people to extract camp specifically. And like a good example is like outskirts on Woods. So that extract is quite wide. Like you don't have to be right at that truck. There's actually a fair bit of room left and right of that you can actually extract. So, and then Woods extracts, that if you spawn on one side of the map, you have like 5 extracts. If you spawn on the other side of the map, you really only have outskirts or the car extract. So potentially just opening up the idea of, if there's more extracts, there's less chance of people extract camping. And this is what it's coming down to, is people don't want to die, go to all the work of going through all the map, getting all the loot, battling out other players and scavs, and then dying right on that exit line. So there's either more options to extract from a map or bigger areas in the extracts that are available. It just takes away some of the power of someone camping an extract. Reduces the chances of them being able to extract camp. And then for interchange as well, there's that one corner of the map that has nothing in it that could perfectly be an extract of a new proportion or type. One of the ideas that was thrown about a long time ago was you have to have a found in rag dog tag to extract from that corner, or something cool like that. So then that way, at least you still have to do something in the map to extract. But then, you know the one that's along the road? It's between, like, you've got the power station corner with the car. You've got Emicon and railway extracts. It's the other corner. Just another extract in there just to help reduce people camping either Emicon or railway, just to give people more options. I preach that people should try and use the safe room extract at the bottom, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. But that's some ideas and a lot of frustration with people about extracts and extract campers. So use that how you want. A lot of questions about the rusted key for streets. You made that room that had the really awesome key spawns in there. And now no one can seem to find the key. It's very, very, very rare. And then when you get in the room, there's nothing in there now. So, or it's nearly nothing in there. People questioning.
It wasn't for us yesterday.
People saying that Streets is such an amazing map for loot that the other maps have kind of lost their charm when it comes to loot. And that it'd be nice if some of the other maps just got a bit of a buff to loot. And a good example is how Shoreline's new area is actually very valuable. And people have realized how good that is. And so like that kind of made Shoreline, so it wasn't just resort that was good or the village area. They had another section, but having extra like loot, more valuable areas on all the maps, or at least more valuable loot spawning on all the maps, would make it so Streets wasn't the money making map or the main money-making map. Hideout crafts. So you've made it that you have to complete a considerable amount of Lightkeeper quests to unlock the Ledex craft, the Vertex craft, and stuff like that. By the time you get these crafts, there's literally nothing in the game you need those Ledexes or Vertexes for. So it kind of makes that whole like, why does it even matter to unlock those crafts? And that when the Ledex craft was available earlier, you would actually be able to craft a Ledex for your therapist task, private clinic. So there needs to be, or it would be, we'd like it if there was more reason to either make these crafts. So either there needs to be a reason to have Ledexes later on, and Vertexes, etc., or these crafts need to be available earlier. So there's actually a point to have the craft. Global trader limits, people hate them. They really fucking hate them. It's very frustrating. Say you've got 2 hours to play for a day, you log in, something's sold out, and it's 3 hours to reset, and you can't even get it. Or if when something does reset, it sells out instantly, and they've never had a chance to do it because there was only 100 available or something like that. A quick fix would be doubling or increasing some of the stuff to buy out, the amount available, or I think the thing that everyone really would like is personal limits over global trader limits or something along the lines of that. The blue folder, like the blue intelligence folder for the Lightkeeper task, that's skyrocketed in value because it's got such a low spawn rate. I think it's at like 30 something million each, and you need 2 of them. Either are more ways to acquire this item or just increasing the spawn rate. Ability to add items to a wish list for the flea market.
I think
and
Nikita's just working, and he's like, I think Pesley's just reading these off and just got a recording of Nikita working at this point. He just added it.
If you did that, then when you go into a raid, it would have that item. When you find that item, it would have like a little icon to say this is on your wish list. So then people that are trying to find items in the game, say they're doing like they're trying to find an item for their hideout or for a quest coming up, that they can actually mark certain items that they want whilst they're running around and looting and stuff. Did you ever play any games like Fallout?
Yes.
Yeah, there's like options in like Fallout that are very similar to that. I think it was like markers needed, I think, in Fallout. Kiba and Ultra Medical seem to be very crappy loot now. They used to be amazing. People want to have the excitement of Ultra Medical and Kiba again. They would love more clothing option on Ragman. I'll just, you can do what you want with that, but...
That's the plan.
This was actually a really cool idea. Do what you want with it. Potentially reworking how you get colored keycards for labs. Like you can still have it. There's a chance to get one off a boss in a pocket or whatever. But they really like the idea of Colleagues Part 3, where you actually get that option to get a black keycard if you want. Or you can, do the other, like by killing Sanitar. And maybe having some more quests in the game where, hey, if I do this option, I could get a green keycard. Or if I do this option, I might get a violet keycard. And then that way it kind of gives you get the option of what path you want to go down to. It's like choose your own adventure, but you'll miss out on something, but you'll get something else instead. So they actually, there was someone brought that up saying it was a really cool idea. That's everything I got for looting and loot. You want a list of new guns that the people want to see? You like guns, don't you?
I don't know, like there's a lot of guns already, and there's still a lot of things.
People want to know what guns are coming, but I'll give you this. Actually, I'll let you go first if you want to announce any guns or say any guns are coming.
You have to say it? Yes.
People would love to see an M249, so a 5.56 like belt fed, because I think we got like the RPD in that already. M82 Barrett, your sniper. Obviously, all the British people would love to see an SA80. The Bison, PP Bison. I'm hoping to hear a planned one. That's all the people said. Some middle tier NVGs. I actually really like those blue ones you've got in the game, but just some more variations in NVGs. And there was a lot of people asking to smoke cigarettes, like surprising amount of comments. Smoking cigarettes and vapes. If you want to go down that path. That's it for, I've got 4 guns and stuff. Do you want to say that if there's any guns coming up in the next patch or wipe or whatever, I'll save that for a Tarkov TV?
Something is coming. I'm not sure what is coming. Most likely, I will show it in Tarkov too, so I don't have any information what's going on.
Cool.
But I think some belt fit will be in their new one, but I'm not sure which exactly.
I'll leave that for the people to guess. Servers, someone was asking for an Alaskan server or a server for Alaska.
Sure.
And then
yeah, sure.
America, are having issues of getting ping kicked, and they live in South America. I think the server's located in Brazil, and I don't know where they are located in South America, but they're getting kicked from that server. I don't know if you are open to the idea of potentially like maybe increasing just the ping kick on that server alone, just so then that way it can handle the whole continent without issue, so at least they can play the game. Private servers and game modes. Are you open to the idea of the people paying for or organizing an event with you guys for private server events? I know Path of Exile does a lot of this stuff where towards the end of a wipe, they'll host like special leagues called gauntlets and stuff like that. And then, you know, like they might be able to invite like a certain amount of people to be a part of the event. Maybe something that we can bring up with Dimitri or someone in relation to hosting events.
We're definitely not interested in earning money from it, because literally it's nothing. It's just needs to be managed from our side. So that's the reason we are like, it's a good idea. Maybe we should implement something in the future for the release to have some dedicated guy who will work on these tasks especially, and yeah, it could be done. Yeah. But it's not about the actual earning money or something like it, and it's not that simple. Like, okay, and you go ahead. No, we need like to build like kind of infrastructure, tools, and everything for that. So, yep. But it's not done, and as you can understand, it's not important right now.
I am in discussion with Dimitri about trying to host a.
He looks so done with this. I know. I feel like Nikita's checked out at this point.
Infrastructure there.
Like the single cases are totally okay. Like if you need to do something customized for the single event or something, it's good. But to have like kind of open thing for not everyone, but at least for a wider audience, some kind of tools, some kind of like servers ready to go, that means that it needs to be done in many terms.
Yep.
We need to actually do that.
All right, so moving on to events. How do your in-game events come to existence? Do you have someone who plans and organizes them all, like a games master that goes, all right, they're going to do these events over the wipe and it's going to tell this story, or people just want to know more information on how you decide on running an event?
So basically it's the same thing. Like every single season, we just select a really big like amount of different events, like a big list. Then we iterate them, remove what's like hard to do or just stupid, and we kind of lock this in, and that's it. Starting to work towards it is like there are like big events, like the events just before, and events which are kind of repetitive every single year. That's the Halloween and everything, and that's it. We kind of, because it's not like we are inventing those events on the go. More like they are established already at the start of the year even, and just it, because literally we like select them, we pick the dates, and we need to actually develop them. So that's it. And when it's ready, we release it. When we increase the amount of events towards the end of wipe, because literally at the end of wipe people are like kind of bored and need to do something. So we run the like more
intense ones, the game-breaking ones.
Game-breaking ones, yeah.
We've seen global events in the past for people to take part in. Could we get some events that are like USEC versus bear style, like a race to doing a certain thing or killing a certain amount of the other faction, or just something to put a bit of competitive between the bears and the USEC? I think people would find that very fun, and maybe like having a reward for the winner, maybe like, I don't know, bonus 5% XP or something, or 10% XP for a week, or, you know, like something just for bragging rights or whatever, you know? And then I think people really like the cultists, but they don't ever get to see them in general. So more events that actually involve the cultists would actually be kind of cool as well. That's on my list of what people have asked for. The last 6 questions I've got are all just general questions, and you can explain as much as you like or as little. It's totally up to you, Nikita. What is the biggest technical limitations the game is facing and plans to overcome?
The first, it's like visual, graphical limitations and different kind of stuff related to optimizing the game. So basically, it's because the game is too big, too complicated, and we started it without knowing some really specific stuff that we actually understood later. And that's why it's always a really, really hard struggle to actually change something on a go when everything is kind of established. And so the first one is the constant war with our own code, old code and everything. So it's a struggle. The second one is like the engine limitation and lack of tools, lack of like inner technological stuff within the engine, which already like kind of like a standard in the game industry, but still in Unity it's not even there. The third one, like really big amount of different kind of testing before the release, before the patch release and everything, because literally there's so many systems, functions, subsystems, and everything that needs to be checked. They're all linked together, and every single time when it comes to actual like final testing of the releases of the patches, we need to do more and more testing every single time. And it's like it's okay. It's like understandable.
I mean, how hard would it be for them to just scrap Unity and upload everything into Unreal Engine?
But it's not like
I mean, I'm sure that's gonna be hard as hell, but you know, just like thought-wise, like I'd be fine with taking a 6 months like content pause in the game if that's what they needed to do. You know, move it over to Unreal Engine.
Like reiterate, recode stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe even refactoring the code a little to speed up the process. It's not like we don't have a final solution. Like, okay, we should do that. We should like close the game for half a year and make everything great. No, it's not working that way. Unfortunately, that it is what it is. You cannot rebuild like the big ship which is like
already floating.
Yeah. We will just overcome it with more work, more tools, more like methods of working and everything. So just will be some working solutions, some management solutions and everything.
What are your intentions for 2, 5, and 10 years from now for Battlestate Games and Escape from Tarkov?
Release the game, make the release plan for DLCs, release the DLCs, and start making new game.
Any hints on what that new game is?
Something with candies, little dogs. Yeah.
And you get to crush
some
them?
Mobile games, maybe mobile, yeah.
You made a Twitter post a while ago talking about potentially releasing an API for Escape from Tarkov. Is there still any plans for that?
Yeah, I need to remind this because the guys told me, okay, that's totally okay, we will do that, and something like left forgotten, so I just need to check.
Kind of goes into my next question, so I'm sure you can answer this at the same time. Is there an app still planned or in development, or you?
Oh, here we go.
Once the API is released, you'll let other people just do it.
It's still planned. We actually have a working, like not the prototype, like working first version, but for some reason we still holding it. I need to check it too. I believe we will do that for the release. So we will release this application.
What's the plan for that? Is that more to can you use your hideout in that and craft or is it
like the functionality is pretty big? Like the plans for the functionality are also big. We will start with something more simple and then we'll add more stuff to do. Like at least you will see a lot of statistics, a lot of ongoing crafts and everything, the statistics of your matches and so on. And yeah, we'll add some more functionality to that. I need to check like what exactly we've done for this application.
Cool. Second last question: is there a benefit to playing Bear coming to Tarkov? Because right now, if you're a USEC, you can get away with going closer to light, the water treatment.
There will be another faction like Russian armed forces, so there will be something like rogues for the Bears.
Is that Black Division or whatever it's called?
No, it's like Russian military forces.
Okay.
RUAF.
Cool. And the last question was a random one, but do you have crunchy or smooth peanut butter?
I don't have any peanut butter. I didn't eat peanut butter because I don't know. We didn't got used to it. Like it's more like Western thing. really. Like we have sgushonka, you know?
Yeah.
Sgushonka. That's condensed milk. So we use that. We have like regular condensed milk and the boiled condensed milk.
Yeah.
Boiled condensed milk is like brown one. It's more tasty, and most of all, you can craft it in real life.
Isn't boiled condensed milk custard? Am I wrong with that?
No, because it's a typical thing for Eastern Europeans and everything. So yeah, and we don't have like this like peanut butter or something. It's more like we saw in American movies, like everyone starts to like use this on the bread, like peanut butter with a jam or something. They call it
peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, and I tasted it, like it's pretty good, but we didn't have that there, so we just used Gushonka and that's it.
All right, that's all I've got. Thank you so much, Nikita, for giving me your time and everyone their time and hearing our concerns and comments and yeah, just
that was pretty good for the most part. Whenever Nikita was tuned in, but I think you checked out.
Good questions as always.
You have anything final you want to say? Last remarks?
Smoking is bad. I must say, smoking is bad.
Okay.
Don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol. And don't play too much. Go outside, see what the hell is going on there, and instantly go back. I'm joking, of course.
All right, guys, so that is the end of the conversation with Nikita. I honestly tried to just ask every question I could for you guys, and I pushed on things that I felt like were the more important stuff, and emphasized that understanding that making a game is quite difficult. He even brought up those points towards the end of the whole conversation where the actual game itself,
translation touch grass,
making the game made it quite difficult then to be able to do stuff later on, and they're working on trying to fix those limitations in that. So hopefully you guys found something good from this. Hopefully it answered a lot of your questions. Really tried my best to do that. Moving forward, I love Escape from Tarkov. It's my favorite game, and for me it's always great when I get an opportunity to talk to Nikita about this stuff. And
overall pretty good. I don't know, what do you think? I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean, interviews are just interviews. Let's see what they actually do.
Yeah, I think that
I have faith in them though.
Yeah, I mean, they've went this far. Like, I mean, this game's been going on this long. Like, I mean, the thing is like a lot of people, like you see on Twitter, they'll be like, we haven't heard anything from BSG in a while. They get nervous and they think that it's going to be like a, what's that game that just did, the next thing they're going to say is, we're shutting down the game. People think that, is it the end of the world for Tarkov? But this game's got a lot of longevity, and I think that it sucks that they're limited by, like, what he's talking about, their past code, and so they've literally built the game from the ground up. This is their first game, and so they've learned a lot from it, but I think, like, they're just limited by the learning process because of all the building that's went on early in the game. So
I think people are also just, like, impatient because it's mostly the people that have been playing this game for wipe after wipe after wipe, and it's like they do all the things like how you're already at where you're at, but like, yeah, you might get bored with it and then you get mad things don't change, but like they're working on it. They've made a lot of good changes just in like the last wipes I've played and everything, but it's just like, let them do the work, let them figure it out, instead of saying like, oh, this needs change, this needs change. Let them fucking get what they need done, and then we'll go from there and we'll see what actually, like, when the wipe comes out, yeah, give your bitches and gripes at first, but then, like, let them do their magic. I mean, they're not going to be communicating every single move, but when something big or what they think is big comes out with a game, then so be it. Like, they do pretty well with, like, the bugs and everything. Like, we say there's a bug and they go and try to fix it. So, I mean, they do some shit. It's just they're trying to get the shit done. They're just trying to grind.
Yeah, they're working people just like we are, and it takes time to get work done, so I get it, man. Yeah, all right, well, I think that's it for us, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. Appreciate you guys coming through and let me and Cody kind of delve into this and kind of talk about this interview and give our POV. So appreciate you guys. Y'all take it easy. Have a blessed one. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Later, baby.